is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top four and nothing more. Kirk, are you ready for some football? A Thursday night.
Let's get this thing going. It is football season, and we are starting it off right
How cool
today.
is this, man? It is actually the kickoff of NFL today. We get to see the Ravens play some bum team. And then we get to start off our 2 months of sports here at the Rushmore Show. Kirk, we don't talk. It's like Voldemort, man. We don't say his name.
We don't talk about Bruno. No. Hey, so we're gonna do a little. We're gonna do a little Rushmore cast, I guess, because I'm definitely watching the game. We've got it going on, but we have a great guest today.
Yes,
it's convention season next weekend. Morgan City.
Hey, Davey is in.
But the next weekend, we are in Morgan City rocking the Louisiana RetroCon, and at the Louisiana Retro, there he is, Dave's Gaming Galaxy at the Louisiana RetroCon. Andy and I are emceeing, and we'll be preaching, we'll be teaching, we'll be talking, we'll be hanging out with folks. And while we were there last year, at one of these conventions, we ran into our guest today. And that, we've been running into a bunch of guests. You've been meeting our guys, but the Louisiana RetroCon is something not to miss. Davey has been working hard on this. He's got some cool guests.
Let me tell you something.
It's continually growing. So let's do
it. Davey, if you're still in the chat here, I'm going to be looking at RetroCon. I'm going to pause a little bit on the 64 stuff. I got some backlog games. I don't want to get too crazy with it right now. But I think my search is going to be some nostalgia 90s Nickelodeon memorabilia. After we did last week with our good friend over at Real Life Perspective, his show, it's just kind of been jogging all those memories and that love. So I'm going to be looking for some 90s Nick nostalgia, which I'm sure I can find some of that here at RetroCon this coming week.
Hey, Barry in the house. Bryce J. Dub. Hey, dude. Did I see it right? Did Bryce J. Dub get baptized?
I saw that, man.
What? Let's go, Bryce. You in the house, bro. I love to see that. Well, hello to the Haste More. Little fun nickname. Fat Boys in the house. Fat Boys. Yeah, a little wipeout. Look, I love Fat Boys is back. What's up, everyone? Hope you're feeling great. Be in this place. Smash that like button. Look, man, we're going to have a fun time. So we're kicking off sports, and let's just go through this real quick and share with the fans, the folks that are here, the all five of them, while they're here to see what's going on. So this week we got a little special guest. He's from New Orleans. We're doing some fun stuff.
How was camp? It was good.
She goes away for 3 days.
I don't know what that was about.
I don't know what just happened. That was a video from before, but this is the fun part about live. Hey, so we've got our friend Who Dat Pat today, and so let's look at the schedule. Who Dat Pat's coming on for Saints of All Time. Dylan, you saw Dylan a couple days ago. If you watched the Rushmore Fantasy Football, that starts tonight, and Dylan's in the league, Paul's in the league. That's the next two guys going. Then we got Chris Gordy from Houston radio, sportscaster, coming on for college football players. And then we're going to rock it. Zach's Collectibles, football rivalries. My buds, Paul and Brian, they're coming for Hall of Fame snubs. Vintage sport flips, NBA dunkers, and Vogs is up for stadiums. Vogs might not be able to make it. Pending his work schedule, we might have an opening right there in October 25th. So if you guys are interested in jumping in that, come on board. But that's the schedule. That's sports. Sorry I gave you a little bit of Riley, and her anger makes me a little fired up. Chiefs are about to come on. Ravens. Man, it's exciting. It's time to start off sports. So, man, I'm ready to go. You ready to go, Andy?
I am so ready to run through a wall. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Hype list. Yes, Bryce JW. Well, look, hey, guys, it is time. It's Veda time. It's time for your Rushmore of all-time New Orleans Saints. Let's get it. All right, guys, we kind of announced him already, showing the little graphic, but Who Dat Pat is in the house. And Who Dat Pat's a guy we met at the conventions. Welcome to the stage, our buddy, a New Orleans friend, New Orleans fan, New Orleans Saints fan, Who Dat Pat. Come on board, man.
What's up, guys? What's going on, man? I appreciate y'all having me on y'all show here, man. This is awesome. Really
Yeah,
is.
I love to hear that accent. That's
Thanks,
what I'm talking
guys.
about. I'm over here in Atlanta. We don't get that too much, but man, so Pat, tell me about the show. Tell me about your channel. Tell me about what got you started. Why Who Dat Pat is just a rhyming thing. What's going on with you, man? Tell everybody what's going.
Yeah, I guess you could say basically, I love to vlog, right? And I love to travel. And one way to do it is basically just to get out there and just put it all in one and just make a YouTube channel. And I never thought about this years ago. I wish I did. And man, let me tell you what, I'm having a blast doing this. And me and my wife go out there all the time, and we just go to different places. We go to cons, like we met you guys. I mean, we go to museums. We go to, oh gosh, theme parks, you name it. We do our best, and we get out there and just have a good time filming. We really do. And that's, and then the reason why I picked Who Dat Pat is because, based out of New Orleans, man. Come on, I'm a Saints fan, buddy,
Yeah.
If we couldn't tell by the accent, it's definitely clear you're from the South Shore, baby.
Also, is the so for our Summit Squad, we call our fans the Summit Squad. For those guys, is your channel predominantly just kind of doing the New Orleans area, or are you going outside of that?
Oh man, look, I go everywhere. I try to go out there and get my name out there as best as I can, because everybody, I guess a lot of people probably get a little confused by the name a little bit because they probably think it's football. I do love football. Don't get me wrong. Love watching college. I watch a little bit of baseball, but yeah, it's more of a vlog channel than anything. Yeah, I really want to get out there. That's my goal. That's what I really want to do for life there.
Well, look, we appreciate you having you over. We're almost to that 1,000 mark. Anybody popping on in to come see Pat, man, welcome to the show. And hit that stuff. We'll hopefully we'll win you over by the time the show's over. And if you are coming on board, this is how we do it, Pat. We're going to go through a 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to go through what we call the Rushmore. Now, here's the first task, though. First task is it's kind of your criteria. And the criteria is basically what makes these 4 people, these 4 things, these 4 candies, these 4 whatever, so impactful to you to say they're your favorite. And so, obviously, we're talking Saints today, right?
Oh, yeah.
And many Saints fans are, we don't like the Falcons. We're a little bitter on Tom Brady's run. We're a little bitter on the Niners back in the 80s and 90s. A lot of times when you talk to Saints fans, they're not fans of that stuff. They're not fans of Tampa Bay. And so we would probably not have those guys on our mountain, right? But if we went to New England or we went to Atlanta, we went to San Francisco, those mountains would look different. Today, we're talking just Saints, just the New Orleans Saints. And so when you talk about criteria and how you were picking your 4, was it hard? What were you thinking? And then we'll jump right into the list. You're going to go first, and we call him Rosie, which is what we say is the 4th guy on the mountain, the Roosevelt. Right. So Rosie. So what were you thinking when you put together the mountain? And then let's go, Rosie. Let's start this thing off.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what though, this was extremely difficult for me. There's so many Saints players that you can pretty much name that really come to mind because there's a lot of times I've been to games and seen a lot of great winning games, and some of them wasn't winning games, but some of them were great. And I'm gonna tell you what, the athletes that were on the field are just phenomenal. And I'm gonna tell you, I'll be honest with you. This was extremely tough for me to pull this list, man, because I'm gonna tell you what, there were so many players out there, and I'm just like, who can I take and who can I put in there? And I kind of dug in deep a little bit here. So that's how I feel on that one. My top 4 there.
Yeah. This is not difficult, and we'll talk about it in my criteria too. I didn't find this difficult in the sense of I just felt it was difficult because the abundance of Saints I could pick, right? Like I was, sometimes I have difficult lists of I got to come up with 4 of these.
I'm going to be honest, and I kind of mentioned this. I was going to mention it today. My phone was acting all screwy. I thought this might have been my easiest list ever. And here's the thing, because I love the Saints so much, there's definitely a ranking, at least for the top 2 or 3, and then finding that fourth one was just kind of like what was most nostalgic. But my list right now is 57 deep, and I could have kept writing. I mean, I'm going off of whatever, and my top 4 were pretty solid, so that's cool. But what I would just say, Pat, is welcome to the show, because every single person that's ever done this is like, oh yeah, that's easy. I know all about the Saints. And then they'll wait until like last minute. And they're like, man, I got to put this list together. And like, man, I don't know what to put. I'm stumped, because it's not as easy when you say, just give me 4. If I say, give me your top 30, you just name off a bunch.
That's right.
And we say, hey, just these 4. But hey, I want to say some hellos real quick. I see some people in the chat I haven't met, and I've given you all some wrenches, which means you are now a part of the Summit Squad, and you're a part of the moderating team. But anyways, Danielle, I think that might be one of your folks. Pat, welcome to the show.
That's
and
right,
Nick
man.
Benham, he's actually been on the show. I guess I haven't given you a wrench yet, but it's great seeing you guys. Welcome to the Summit Squad. This is for you. So part of the Summit Squad, what we ask is, if you're going to take this journey with us, you can do one of 2 things. You can either post your top 4 right now and just put all of them in the list. That kind of gives it away. But if you're going to hang around with us a little bit, as we go, you go. So when we do our 4, you do your 4. 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to do some honorable mentions at the end. Stay with us for the journey. We got some great things to talk about. This is going to be fun. All right, man. Pat, number 4, your Rosie, line in the sand. Who you got for the 4th guy on the Rushmore of the New Orleans Saints?
Well, y'all ready for this one? This one I kind of did here. I went with.
Are you showing your age?
Lewis, Michael
Oh,
Lewis,
the beer man.
wide receiver, brother. Yeah, baby.
The beer man.
Beer
Come
man.
on.
A beer man.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah, y'all remember that, huh? The beer man.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
seen it quite a few times in action in the game. The guy was just phenomenal. I mean, he's so fast. I think he ran the 40 in like 4.33. I mean, the guy was just great. I mean, I didn't even think he went to other teams, but yeah, it's just great memories. The athlete, just being on the field, just watching this guy was just incredible. It really was. But yeah, Michael Lewis, the beer guy, man, I just much love right there for him.
So for any non-Saints fans out there, this guy was like delivering beer or something like prior to his tryout as NFL whatever. So they called him the beer man. So like Kurt Warner makes the Hall of Fame delivering groceries. This dude's serving, driving a beer truck. So Michael Lewis, here's one stat I got for you, and I wrote it down on mine. This is an honorable mention for me. And I've just got one stat that I wrote next real quick. Michael Lewis has the most New Orleans Saints return yards of all time.
Come on now.
So that's kind of a big deal. That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
that is awesome. Yes.
Hey, in 2007, he was a 49er. I found that out. So, but he was, for all intents and purposes, I mean, he had 336 yards with them, but I mean, everything else came from the Saints.
That's right.
Obviously, like you said, Kirk, more known, I think, for his returning abilities more so than his wide receiver action that he would get, but still probably one of the most beloved Saints fans as far as, or Saints players.
Very strong in the community too.
Oh, yeah, very strong.
Very strong in the community. He was so welcomed. Not a towering man, kind of just looked like he could be one of the boys when he's walking around in like the parking lot, right? He's not huge, but he could fly. I mean, he
173, 5'8", $173. He ain't
5'8", 173. I mean, I ate that for lunch today. Yeah. And I am not a big guy for football standards at any stretch.
Also, yeah, he's also from New Orleans too. So I mean, you always have that as well.
Oh, love that. Love
great pick, man.
Man. So I see Barry in the chat. His first pick, his number 4 is a Hall of Famer, also a Niner, I believe, played some Niner time. Ricky Jackson. How about that? So
that's awesome. I love Ricky, man.
Yeah, Ricky Jackson, number 4. Hey. All right, Andy, Beer Man. I like Beer Man. Where are you going with your number 4?
All right, man. So
first criteria, what were you thinking?
Yeah. Yeah. So criteria wise, it actually didn't make it necessarily much easier because I mean, I guess it did eliminate some. I had to pick who were some of the guys that I remember watching, like actually watching, right? So it, as great as some of these players, particularly the defense were, when we talk, which somebody may mention Dome Patrol and some, we got the Ricky Jacksons and all that stuff. I'm not going to bring those up today. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, they're not on my list because they it was just before my time of watching this, right? So I'm going to pick my top 4 that I watched during my time. Not all of these guys were career-long Saints. In fact, I think one was. So, but again, there's so many great Saints, even since I started watching that it didn't necessarily help it exactly. I'm going to go, I tried to not dominate my list with 100%, running backs, 100% offense, 100%. I tried to get a little bit of diversification going on here today. And so I'm going to start off with my special teams addition to this, which Who Dat, yours was offense, but also a big part of the special teams side of things too. This guy is strictly special teams though, and actually he's my only player that I'm going to mention today that is still currently active. Believe it or not with the Saints anymore, but this guy. If you want to think about guys that are just all about New Orleans culture, community, you want to talk about a guy who has got probably one of the most iconic plays in Saints history. Happened actually in the Super Bowl. I'm going, I'm throwing a punter out there. Thomas Morstead is going to make my list. Now, here's why. This is a pick for the fans, right? This is not like going to be the flashy ESPN guy. In fact, there was many games in Morstead's career where he and Breeze would take a picture in the locker room with the 0. I had to punt 0 times today. He got the benefit of being on one of the best offenses of all time that sometimes just didn't have to punt the ball. But when they called on Morstead to do what he could do, he was probably one of the best place kickers that I've seen. He could put that ball exactly where we needed it to be. And then added bonus, rookie season, I believe it was his rookie season.
Yep.
Ambush happens, right? In the Super Bowl. Obviously, gutsy play call. But, I mean, can you imagine not only being Sean calling that play, you're a rookie punter who has to come up here and pull this game off, right? I'm going to go this has got to be one of the most iconic plays. If that play doesn't go in the Saints' favor, we may be having a different conversation right now. But this guy, Morstead, has got to be one of the best ones out there. Still currently active, playing for the Jets right now, unfortunately. Although he still, if you follow him on social media, shares love for New Orleans often, right? He's down here for the Mardi Gras. He's down here for the different events. He is a big time, he's grew up here basically, raised his family in New Orleans. He's a New Orleans guy through and through. But Thomas Morstead, I had to throw him out there. When it comes to, again, beloved players in Saints history. I know Barry doesn't agree. He says a punter. What? What is that all about?
Dean Simmons did not play for the Saints.
No, he didn't. But I will say this. A punter is that weird position that you never want to have to use him because obviously you just don't want to have to punt. You want to continue scoring. But when you need him to be that guy, you've got to have that guy. And Thomas Morstead is definitely that guy. I love him. He's fantastic, and got to give him for my Rosie.
So Barry says he's got a punt. He's got a special teamer as well. Hey man, I got a lot to talk about Thomas Morstead. Another one of my honorable mentions. I love Thomas Morstead. I love that you guys picked these two guys to give them a little love tonight. Couple things. Voted by New Orleans fans. He is widely considered the best 5th-round pick ever by the Saints.
There you go.
He was picked 164th.
That'll change this year with Spencer Rattler. We'll see.
Yeah, you're right.
164th by the Saints. Ambush was a big deal. He's got franchise record in career punts, 692, and punt yards 32,190. He was only released because of the salary cap.
Yeah.
And they tried to go a different direction. Sometimes punters, kickers, they kind of get the kind of shaft. I feel like he's one of those guys that's going to retire back with us. Like he's going to come back.
I would love for that to happen.
He's consistently great on the coffin corner and all that stuff. Thomas Morstead, good picks. SMU, man, Southern Methodist University. Let's go.
Yeah, he's still kicking it in the league now. He was 2009 draftee, so there you go, and still playing today. And he's got Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback now too. The one knock I will put on Morstead's one knock that I will put on him is the fact that he was an Atlanta Falcon, and he had to.
Yeah, he did do that. He did do that, and he was regretting it big time. You can tell his family was.
Have y'all seen the guy's workout? Have y'all seen Thomas Morstead's workout? Have y'all seen it? The way this guy works out is like,
yes,
it looks unreal.
It's like a linebacker.
Yeah, man, this guy is like, man, he's ripped, man.
For a punter. I mean, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, he got a big old leg too, man. He can kick it, bro. He can straight up kick it.
All right, Patrick's in the house. Patrick McCaskill. We got another Patrick in the house.
Also have Butt Files in
Patrick.
the house.
What's up with that?
We also got Hey, we're about to have Patrick in the house too. Patrick Mahomes. Oh, sorry. That's your first one. That's your first one of the day.
There's more than one.
No, Patrick, welcome to the show, bud. Welcome. More Patricks all over the place. So, hey, man, let me get jumping in, man. Thomas Morstead, Michael Lewis. I see where y'all are going. Y'all kind of diversity. I don't know. You guys might whatever, but we're going to talk about. So I'm a New Orleans Saints fan, born in New Orleans area. Just been a Saints fan for most of my whole life. There was a time period right as I was kind of coming of age kind of story, and I realized the Saints were the Aints. It was the bags on the head. It was all the things that we didn't like about football in the 80s and 90s. And I remember going to my dad and saying, man, why do you like this team? They are absolutely abysmal. It's horrible to watch. I was probably about 11 or so. And that's when I started to love the Chiefs back 91, 92. That's when the Dome Patrol started. And then probably about my senior year, which was like 96, right? Right about 96, 97, going into college, I realized how important the New Orleans Saints are to not just the New Orleans economy, but the just culture and the city altogether. Then you had Hurricane Katrina comes around. And man, if it wasn't for the Saints, I don't know that the New Orleans area would have ever recovered. There's all kinds of things that happened in those up and coming years. I became a diehard Saints fan again, kind of in late 90s, just because I was like, man, this is my home team. I got to cheer for them. So I do run with two teams. If they ever play each other, I usually go for the team that it will help the most. And right now, it would really help both of them. They're playing in week 4? I'm thinking about actually making that trip to Kansas City and going to watch that game. But when it comes to the list, these are just my 4 favorite dudes, man. These are the guys I would buy a jersey for. I intentionally wore this jersey today for Andy because I'm just going to throw this out there. This is an honorable mention for me. So these are dudes I would buy a jersey for sure. These are guys I would rock. These are my guys. So I'm going to start off number 4. All right. So number 4, I mentioned to you, Andy, and this is going to give it away right here. But I mentioned to you about Thomas Morstead being the best 5th round pick ever in the history of the game. This is the best 7th round pick in the history of the game. He is from Hofstra, yes, right? Hofstra. We snacked this guy out, and he is got career records in touchdowns receiving. He's got career yards. He's also got career receiving yard leader for the Saints. I'm going with none other than your boy Marcus Colston. And look, Marcus Colston. Look, big ears and all. This dude could just catch the ball. He was so dynamic with Drew Brees. And here's the thing, man. Ever since he left, we always tried to replace him. We tried to find the next one. I mean, we had Michael Thomas for a minute. We had all these Lance Moores and all these guys that came in, but nobody, to me, has actually fulfilled the role as long and as strong as Marcus Colston did it for us. He was a career saint for us. He to me is what that run meant. And when I think about those guys, man, I got to have Marcus Colston on the list. This is number 4, 7th round pick, man. Oh, let me tell you this. He was the 252nd pick in 2006, right? The year after Katrina, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a big deal, man. He comes in and rejuvenates the city along with many other guys. I'm going with Colston.
I love this pick. Obviously, he's not flashy. He's not the guy that was necessarily SportsCenter top 10 material the next day. He's not the soundbite T.O. Ocho Cinco guy. But I will tell you, there has not been a more consistent receiver up there than Colston. Colston, he was Old Faithful. You count on you. It's 3rd and 6. Colston's got it. I mean, he's just that guy. The one thing about Colston that I always notice, and maybe you guys notice this watching him, when he caught the ball, it wasn't very often because of the routes that he would call. I mean, he wasn't necessarily the burner, right? We had some other guys that were those 9-route guys. But Colston would catch the ball. If he was in the open field, he looked like he didn't know what to do, bro. Like he was like, I mean, it was just silly, but that dude, like, get down. Like, no, he was a great player, fundamental.
Just saying hello to a couple guys. Kev in the house. Kevin, Louisiana RetroCon's on the way, bro. You going? If you're going, let me know, man. I'll be there. And then Jay Thompson is in the house. Jay, that is Vogs's internet dad. He always likes to say, welcome to the show. We're talking Saints today. So if you don't like the Saints, sorry, but you can still probably chime in a little bit. And man, just great to have you guys hanging around.
So
what do you think about Colston, Pat?
He says he should have been a Pro Bowl.
Man, I'm going to tell you what, anytime you was looking for that one catch from Drew, brother, that was the man right there. I mean, that guy's hand was just like, it was solid. I mean, every time Drew threw the ball, it was there. And you can always count on him to get it, man. He was always open. The man was just phenomenal to watch on the field. He really was. He was awesome. He really was.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. He went all the way to 7th after watching, these combines and all this stuff. It's like sometimes they just overanalyze and because he went to Hofstra and a couple other things, he didn't. But man, also, we got a steal. That was when Mickey Loomis was like, bro, he went a stretch for about like 5 years where like A+ grades coming out of the draft, and man, that was a good one.
Yeah. Also, maybe correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Hofstra even has a football program anymore. Like, didn't they recently, I said within the last couple of years, like actually cancel their football program? Like, so we just had that window of time where Colston happened to be there. I think he was actually relatively recently inducted to like the Saints Hall of Fame too. I mean,
Ring of Honor or something.
It's fitting. Colston is going to go down as one of those.
So Super Bowl champ 2009. He's got 711 receiving receptions with 97, 59, and 72 tutties. So I mean, just Mr. Consistency, 6 1,000-yard receiving games.
Pro Bowl snub for sure.
100%, bro. 100%. Speaking of snubs, we're talking about the Hall of Fame snubs from baseball coming up. Pro Bowl snubs and All-Star snubs is also a good conversation. Breeze, Ricky Williams, Mike Ditka, and Donnie Abramowitz, bro. You're digging deep. That's my dad's guy right there, Donnie Abramowitz. Mike Ditka doesn't get a lot of love around where we're at, dude. I mean, we appreciated him coming, and I'm going to say this. Just throwing this out there. The Mike Ditka, Ricky Williams, that whole deal is what got us where we were, because we got ourselves in a bind and we had to go get old faithful Drew. If we wouldn't have done that, we would have had all those picks and we'd have probably went a different direction. So thank you, Mike Ditka, for making that mistake. But here we go. Pat, Round 2, bud. So now you don't need criteria. We just kind of jump in. Now we've got 3 good picks right off the bat. Where are we going here?
Well, let's do this one here. Let's kind of take this one here. We're going to kind of go with offense a little bit, and I'm just going to kind of go with this one. This is back in the '80s a little bit. I know, like, we kind of give love to like kickers and stuff like that. It was one of my favorite players when I was younger. You know, yeah, brother. We're going to go with Morton Anderson, man.
Yes,
More
6-time all-time pro, brother. I mean, NFL 1980s all-decade team, brother. I mean, Morton Anderson had pulled many games for the Saints. I mean, he was like just one of the greatest ones to watch. And actually, he kicked a 60-yard. I mean, he had the NFL record for the longest, I believe, right? Until they kicked like the 66, I think it is now.
No. So Tom Dempsey had the record for the Saints. Morton Anderson did have a 60. He did have a 60 in his tank. But he didn't have the record. 61 or 62 was Tom Dempsey with the guy with the half foot. But he was a Saint too.
But it was called the Great Dane, man. That was the best thing, man. As many times as he taken out Atlanta, brother. That was the best thing, man. Taking out Atlanta, that was best.
But hey, since you brought it up, one thing about Morstead, he went to Atlanta, and so did the Dane. He went to Atlanta. So look, I'm going to throw this out there for you. It is widely considered by New Orleans Saints fans that this is the best 4th-round pick in the history of the New Orleans Saints. And he was, I remember as a kid, he was my aunt was like in love with Morton Anderson, like just absolutely head over heels. And I had a Morton Anderson signed picture, right? And I don't remember where I got it. I probably got it from one of the times going to the practices or something. And so I had this picture, and my aunt traded me a signed Big Red Machine ball, and it had like many of the Big Red Machine players from the Reds, the Rose and bench days, and it was all beat up, looked like the Beast from Sandlot had chewed up on it. But as a kid, I was like, oh, I want that ball, and I traded that Morton Anderson picture to my aunt. God rest her soul, she passed away, but I have that ball still kind of tucked away. But man, Morton Anderson, man, he's on my list actually as number 5. So he was my 5th guy on the mountain that just missed. This is another great honorable mention for me. And this is before your time. I'm sure he's not even close to being a guy for you. No, but what do you think about Morton?
I like the pick, obviously, for Saints history. He's not gonna make my list today because of what you just said. I mean, he's just before my time. But I will say, like you said, Great Dane might be one of the better nicknames out there for sure.
So he had several records. I don't know if he still has them. He has the most points scored in the history of the NFL. He had the most games played in the history of the NFL, 382. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Most field goals ever made, 565. And the most consecutive games scoring, 360 games this dude kicked. Dude. He's a beast, bro. Good.
Dude, this got your rock, man.
25 years in the season. He was a 7-time Pro Bowler, 5-time first-time All-Pro, 80s all-decade team, 90s all-decade team, 100th anniversary all-team, Saints Hall of Fame, Falcons Ring of Honor, Pro Football Hall of Fame. Dude's got a lot of jackets and rings and things. He never got the Super Bowl, though, man. So, but, he kicked for the Vikings, too. He kicked for a whole bunch of people, man. He kicked all over the country. So, anyways, what a great guy.
Oh, he said Tom Dempsey, 63 yards. Okay.
There you go. Miss Rhonda showing up. I knew it was in there. But I knew Tom Dempsey. I used to have a picture from my aunt, same lady, from when Tom Dempsey kicked that. It was like the newspaper article clipping, and it was like it had like contact paper on it. So it was, and it's still downstairs too, from the Times-Picayune. Man, great. Yeah, awesome stats. Hey, yo, Dylan. Dylan's on next week with college coaches. I have no idea who he's going to pick. But, Andy, your turn, bro.
All right.
This is fun. It's fun so far. I can't believe we haven't crushed yet.
Yeah, I'm going to go with my one defensive player on my Rushmore. I've got plenty of guys that are on my Benjamins.
Saints defensive players, what we're doing.
So here's the deal. The Rushmore Show is about our favorite. right?
Yeah, I mean, your
So
best. What you think is best.
statistically, this guy may not be the best, but I want to tell you from a leadership standpoint, I think that this is my favorite defensive player that we've had that I saw. He was integral in the Super Bowl run. In
Oh,
fact,
Darren Sharper. It's Darren
no,
Sharper.
we don't talk about him. But no, he was integral in this. He was the glue that held that defense together, and he was, other than one that'll likely be mentioned later, probably, in my opinion, he's the second best free agent acquisition the Saints have ever gotten. And he's actually currently announcing for the team for TV. And I got a picture of him right here.
Do it.
Jonathan Vilma.
Wow.
Jonathan Vilma.
Vilma
Yep.
is my guy. He might be my favorite. Now, again, since his 3-time Pro Bowler, which, that speaks a lot. He's the linebacker. He's the quarterback of the defense, as we like to say. He was that guy coming out of the U. Played for the Jets, had a Pro Bowl season as a Jet as well. When we picked him up, he was what I guess is a comparable thing. What Drew was to the offense, Vilma was to the defense, I feel like. And he was just that guy that helped. Now, we had some great players on that defense too. We definitely did. But he was the consistent guy. Jonathan Vilma is my favorite defensive player that we have had. There's a number of defenders that I can mention today, but this guy was my favorite. Played for the Jets, like I said, and then finished his career out in New Orleans. He was linebacker his whole career, number 51 his whole career, right? That was just, I don't know why that always sticks out to me, but he's that guy, man. So career, he played 125 games, or started 121 games, sorry. He had 12 picks in his year. As a middle linebacker, you're not the cornerback or the safety a lot, but that speaks a lot right there. Actually had 116 return yards as a linebacker, interception return yards, which was pretty interesting too. But this guy was just the epitome, I feel, of consistency at that position. Team captain. I mean, Jonathan Vilma is my favorite defender. Now, all that to say, I was not privy to the Dome Patrol and stuff. So is he the best defender the Saints have ever had? It could be debatable, but he's my favorite that we've ever had.
Man,
so.
I love this pick. I love what's happening in the chat. I love everything, guys. I see you guys. Patrick McCastle's throwing out some dogs, dude. But I will say this: Vilma, 3 Pro Bowls, Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2004, wins a Natty with the U, wins a Super Bowl with the Saints. He was the leader, the field general of that run with Drew Brees. Heck of a trade. I think we traded for him in 2007. So this is a couple years after Katrina. This is a couple years before. This is them building that thing. Now, here's the big tarnish. He was a part of that Greg Williams Bounty Gate shout out. And I'm cheering for it. Dude, that's what football's about. Listen, if it sucks that this was such a big deal. It really, and if you're a fan of the Saints, right? Everybody always felt after Bountygate, or right as that thing was coming on, that Goodell was after us, and everybody in the whole thing was after us. Like, because of this, they're trying to get back at us and whatever. And so that kind of made it really weird in those next few years, and kind of really hurt in most New Orleans Saints fans, Drew's career, because Drew had a shot like 3-4 times, and it seemed like it always went south. I mean, the Minneapolis Miracle and the no call and all that stuff. When you talk about fans, they all lean back to Goodell, and Goodell all leans back to the Bountygate. So I will say that. But Jonathan Vilma, love this guy. He's real high up on my list. I got him in the top 10 but he is also a honorable mention for me. So that's it.
Yeah. He's Dylan, just to clear this up, put RIP Brett Favre. He's speaking about how we ended Brett Favre's career essentially in that playoff run. Same thing.
Now, wait, Dylan, be careful when you shout things out like this on the Rushmore Show. It has been very prophetic. Okay, it has been very prophetic to these kind of crazy things happen. The Choco Taco, the NFL Pro Bowl, Betty White has all gone down after us chatting about that. Please, Look,
Hey.
we talked about Psycho Sid. And
Was that a legal hit? I mean, it was legal, right? I mean, it was a good hit, right? I mean,
it was legal at the time.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, like
man, what the
listen,
man.
we sent Kurt Warner out on a stretcher during that playoff run, dude. We rocked him. I mean, he had some CTE for sure because of that.
Yeah. What do you think about Jonathan Vilma?
Yeah, he was like Vilma was the backbone of the defense, man. He was the heart of it. He really was. He gave him the motivation. He gave him the power, what they needed. I mean, the guy was just phenomenal. I was pumped up to see him out there in the field. And I just wish we probably would have gotten a little bit more with him. You know, I just wish he would have got maybe, got a ring, another ring there with him. But it happens, right? I mean, it just.
Yeah, believe it or not, only played 6 years with the Saints. Well, I mean, say only. Yes. That's still a good. I mean, he had a 10-year career, but 6 of those years in New Orleans ended his career after 10. But I mean, you look statistically and you look at his lines. It's just it's a consistent model. You know, that 2013 year, I think he played one game. So I mean, essentially, he had 5 years with the Saints. You know, so. Vilma's the guy. All right, so Kirk, let's move on to you, man. What's your?
I'm going to go controversial here. Going with my guy. Look, this is probably the most decorated New Orleans Saint in history, right? He's got a natty. He's got a Super Bowl. He's got a Heisman.
Yes, he does. It's back. He got it back,
dude, and he got it back. I'm going with my dog, Reggie. Bush.
Do it.
Listen.
Yeah, there you go, brother.
Bro, when he was playing, nobody got more trash from New Orleans Saints fans than this guy. And I will say this. He got it because he was drafted number 2 in the league. And we like everybody expected him to do USC things. And he was not built for the NFL, but what he did was 1,300 all-purpose yards in his rookie year. We talk about special teams. He was one of the best special teams guys we ever had. He was a part of, dude. He redesigned. This is the Saints' offense blew up because of Reggie Bush. I'm going to be honest. This is just my opinion. Drew Brees having Reggie Bush coming out of the backfield. Other than that time, the Eagles guy almost killed him. When he coming out the backfield, there was always a screenplay, and he was good to take a screen to the house. You give him a run up the middle, he's getting eaten up by the trench. But you give him on a sweep or an end around, and he was to the house. And he was integral. Now listen. I think we end up getting another guy a couple years later, poor man's Reggie Bush, who is very good from the Eagles, amazing guy. Somebody might call him out, but I'll just share this. Reggie got his jersey. Matter of fact, got the Super Bowl jersey coming out with the bat. Dude, I'm glad he got his trophy back. I've been a Reggie Bush fan. I've got so many of his rookie cards. When I saw him blowing up in that national championship game with Vince Young, I went and purchased every card I could find that year because I was just hoping he'd blow up. And obviously, his career wasn't necessarily Hall of Famer worthy. But for me, I couldn't have been a bigger fan. I was so happy to see the team and the evolution of what happened. And I was just kind of one of those guys. There's a couple guys that I like that just nobody loves. And he now looking back, he gets a lot of love. But during that first 3-4 years, if he'd have been drafted second round, second pick, nobody would have given him flack. But he got a lot of it from there. So I'm going my number, not TJ Jazzy Jeff, my number 3. I'm going with Reggie Bush, old 2-5. Not to be mistaken by the other 25 Bush that was on the team after he left.
Actually, Raphael Bush was good too, man.
Yeah, he was a good player.
Good defender too. Yeah, Reggie Bush, man. Reggae Bush. I love that commercial.
Yeah,
Reggae was fantastic. I love this pick. I will say this. Looking at the Super Bowl year, that playoff run, Reggie Bush, the game against the Cardinals, he made them look like idiots, like a Pop Warner team playing him. He was making the Cardinals tackle each other. It was just, dude, it's wild. That game is probably his best game I've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. He had multiple 1,000-yard seasons, all-purpose yards. And he after he left the Saints though, he didn't have the same offense. He didn't have Sean Payton's offense. He didn't have that Drew Brees throwing out the backfield. He went to the Lions. He went to the Bills, San Francisco Niners. He finally retired in 16.
2013 with Detroit had 1,500 all-purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a.
And it was and you know what? You know what he also got? And you know what he also got? He got 3 natties with my dynasty fantasy football team, which starts tonight. I'm coming for that trophy tonight. Yep. So yeah, I had him 3 times for those natties. Bush has some pretty good baked beans too. Bush beans. Oh, hey, Genesis in the house. She's one of my students. Hey, Genesis, what's up? Yeah.
This is. What do you think about Reggie, Pat?
Man, I'm gonna tell you what. When they announced him coming out from the draft, it's like the fans went nuts, man. It's like nobody couldn't believe it.
Really got him. Yep.
Yeah, I was like, holy smokes! It's like, dude, we're getting Reggie Bush. I was like, no way, we're getting Reggie, man. And just watching,
especially after Ricky.
Yeah, man, it's like, and dude, it's like the guy just watching him back there, and then the punt returns are just insane, man. It was just watching this guy move and just cut through these guys like butter, man. It's just, he was gone, man. And once he gets past the secondary, he was out of there.
Yeah, great.
He was awesome to watch. It really was, man.
Dude, that game against Miami, the rookie year, or not the rookie, the Super Bowl year, the Fleur de Leap is one of the best plays in Saints history, right there. Yes. So this is
the Fleur de Leap. I love that. Man.
Hey, and this is probably my favorite stat when it comes to Reggie Bush, is what Barry Bear just said. They kept Auburn from winning a natty. So anything that keeps Auburn from winning a natty is up there in my books. So
all right, Manning catch, Rushmore catch, 3rd and 9, baby.
Reggie walked so Kamara could run. That's what Dylan says. All right, cool deal. All right, so we are at the halfway point, and by the sound of it, we've already got the game going on right now. So
yes,
we got
Ravens first down.
Ravens gonna win it big time. It's just
unsubscribe. Get it, Barry. Barry, we love you and everything, but you're too soft, bro. He's a good play it.
Yeah,
Reggie Walker, American run. Yeah.
Hey, well, look, back, man. Casey's going back.
Hope so. Jay, get out of here. We've got enough of that foolishness hanging around here, Jay. Yeah, you got made
the best. You have the best running back of all time running the ball right now for Baltimore. The GOAT. The GOAT.
So here. Let me shout it out. So. Hey, guys, so we're at the halfway point, and I've got a few things I just want to share with you. Next week, not this weekend coming up, but next weekend we'll be out in Morgan City, and we will be doing the Louisiana RetroCon. And the Louisiana RetroCon has been so gracious to us. I got Miss Rhonda and I got Davey that have been hanging out in our chat. Davey is the owner, the creator, the proprietor of the Louisiana RetroCon. Miss Rhonda's his mother, and we love them guys to death. They've given us an opportunity to preach at conventions. Guys, if you don't know, Andy and I we love all this stuff, but what we really do love is people. We love Jesus. We love being able to connect. And one of our favorite things is to go to these conventions and actually preach the gospel. So I'm working on my message this year for the Louisiana RetroCon. Got a lot of cool guys. Got 5 Nights at Freddy's guys, which we had some of those on our show a couple weeks back. We've got a lot of actors, video game guys, all kinds of booths, and we are going to be the MCs. Ideally, we're going to be going around all the booths and talking to everybody and shouting them out and giving them a lot of love and seeing what they've got to provide. But this is one of the best up-and-coming Southeast video game conventions. Go check that out. Come check us out, because we will be doing what we like to call the reboot. And reboot, you guys know what reboot is. It's a start over. And if you're a Christian, it is the first thing you need to do to become a Christian is to get a little bit of a rebirth or a restart. Let's check this out.
Prepare to make the jump to light speed.
They're getting closer.
Oh, yeah? Watch this.
So, guys, Reboot is also where we preach you can go to our homepage and find a couple messages that we've done, and wish we've done more. We have been kind of backlogged, and we have some great ideas to do some more. But we just want to reach out. If you have any prayer requests, you have anything going on in your life, you can always reach out to Andy or I. We would love to pray with you. We'd love to be a part of that. Some other guys that would love to pray with you are our friends over at Culture Box right here. And Culture Box is just a group of Christian creators that we've partnered with over the last few years. And we need to pray for the Ravens, who just scored a touchdown. So, yeah. So
keep pouring it on, baby. Keep pouring it on.
Your boy D. Henry. So, here's the deal. We're going to shout out somebody at Culture Box. Andy, who do we have today that we can tell our friends to go and subscribe and like, because they're amazing?
Hey, let's shout out our friends who really kind of started it all out for us. Our friends, Francisco and Paul J. Powers at the Retro Rewind podcast. Every other week, join the Retro Rewind pod as they travel back 15 or more years along the entertainment space-time continuum in their mission to review movies and games, establishing what is still worth your time today. Expect fun banter and trivial insights from Francisco, Paul, and rotating guest hosts who are all out of time. And that's the Retro Rewind pod. Let them know that the Rushmore Show sent you. Go give them some love, give them a follow, check out all their content.
We got one more thing, though. I mean, yeah, we got some friends that are some amazing coffee brewers. Let's
they are.
check that out, man.
I need to make them a
little commercial.
I'm giving a verbal commercial right now. But go check out if you are a coffee guy. Pat, you like coffee? You a coffee guy?
What? Do I love coffee?
Okay. Well, I'm about to turn you on to some of the best coffee that's out there. My good friend, he's been on the show before, Cade and his wife Taylor, expecting a child anytime soon. Second child on the way. That's where everyone's like baby watch. But hopefully it doesn't hurt them giving me coffee. But I'm going to tell you this right here. The Village Coffee. The Village Coffee. You go to villagebeans.com. They are the official coffee of the Rushmore Show. I'm never drinking it at this time because it's, almost 8 o'clock and I wouldn't go to sleep. But it is the best coffee. I drink 2 cups a day at least. They've got 2 signature blends. They've got a Mexico and an Ethiopia. Mexico is my favorite, but Ethiopia is great too. And actually, I'm going to put this out there. I ordered from him just the other day, literally ordered the same day I got it. I happen to work at the same place he does, but that doesn't matter. But he threw in too, they're experimenting with the Colombian brew. Had that this morning. It was super fantastic too. So on the way, we may have a third one, but if you go to villagebeans.com, you can order the K-Cups, you can order the beans, you can order the ground, you can order it how you want to order it. And they ship within the 48. And just let them know, hey, if there's a spot you can put your notes on there, let them know the Rushmore Show sent you. That doesn't really do anything for us, but I like to support them. If you go on,
what else doesn't really do anything for us?
Well,
Dots pretzels, but these things might be the George of pretzels.
I am 50% Dots pretzels in my body. So just so you guys know. But here's the deal. Go to villagebeans.com. You can sign up to be on their email list. They send out like coffee lessons once a month. It's really cool. Plus you get some 10% coupons and stuff like that. You can order it by the 50, by the 30, by the 20, something like that. I order it all the time. I told them I need to be on a constant subscription. Just keep replenishing it. So anyway, villagebeans.com. Go check it out. Village Coffee, the GOAT of coffees.
So quick question. Since he runs with you, where's he getting it from?
So he's sort. I don't even know all of those things.
Is it the guy that used to be back behind y'all? That's what
no,
not
Mr. Bob. No, it's not him. But they're however they're getting it, I'm cool with it. So it is fantastic stuff, and they really know what they're doing. He's really kind of got into it, not as just to sell this. Like this has kind of become a passion of his to figure out all the ins and outs of the coffee.
That's really awesome, man. I'm excited. Cade was one of our very first guest hosts. Yeah. He did Rushmore of Drummers.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
And
mayo and vanilla wafers.
Right. How do you take your coffee? Is there a specific way you like it?
Cream only, man. No sugar.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, just cream only, bro.
Kirk likes to make a milkshake. That's
Now,
for sure.
I
cream
take
only,
mine.
man.
I take mine sugar only, barely coffee. So I mean, no, I love coffee a lot. But I would much rather my coffee be on the sweet side than the bitter side. But I love a dark coffee. My favorite right now is Death Wish. Man, I love Death Wish. But anyways,
apparently I hate myself because I'm a black coffee drinker. I like hot bean juice is what I like.
I just can't. I can't. Anyways,
Look, I'll tell you this: if there's a coffee that you may potentially be okay with it, even with maybe just sugar, not cream, it's Village Coffee. The Mexico tastes, it's like chocolatey almost, kind of. Again, it's, you like overly sweet. I get that, and overly sweet isn't even in your vocabulary. But if to other people it would
much
be
fun.
overly.
I mean, what's too much fun? Too sweet? I don't
I
know.
like to give it a try.
Hey,
Yeah.
check it out, villagebeans.com.
Villagebean.com. Hey, well, let's jump back into this list. Let's jump back into this list. So, Pat, you're up, and we're gonna go with number 2. Your link, your second best New Orleans Saint ever.
So this was a little tough, man, because now we're getting down to the bottom here, right? So we're getting somewhere, so we're really going to pick the players that we're really looking to get to that top here. But this one, I'm going to kind of go a little defense. I thought about this one quite a bit, and this guy, was part of the Dome Patrol.
Yeah.
Basically the anchor of the defense back in the day, and the most tackles in franchise history for the Saints there, Mr. Ricky Jackson, man.
Oh,
Yes, sir. Yes,
Great
sir.
guy all around, just a power hitter, just phenomenal out there on the field. He had the most sacks in franchise history, man. The guy was just, and I think he even had the most forced fumbles in history. I think it was 38. So that was even incredible, as a Saints there. And I just, all the memories I have of him, I even went to the games and even saw him quite a few times out there. Man, I can just remember hearing my dad losing his voice, and it was just great watching him. It really was, though.
Yeah.
This
is so I didn't watch him play, but actually Super Bowl champ too. Unfortunately, not with the Saints.
With the Niners, right?
With the Niners.
Yes, he was with the Niners. Yes,
so many years, 81 to 93 with the Saints.
Yes,
and then 2 more seasons with San Francisco. So that's a long career, especially for a solid defender. That, I mean, you're at that time, right? The 80s, 90s, like they played a different breed, a different breed of defense than what happens nowadays. But look, Ricky Jackson's great. I do remember his Hall of Fame induction. He is the most country dude.
Oh.
Man, I was out there in Florida, and we used to just have signs for turnip greens all the time. And
very much like Randy Moss.
Oh my gosh, he is the most country dude out there from Pahokee, Florida. So anyway, yeah, great pick though. I love this. What you think about Ricky?
So Ricky, Pahokee, Florida, you stole that from me because he played with the Panthers. The Pittsburgh Panthers, bro? What? This dude, Hall of Famer, just a fantastic guy. I love his career. 81 to 93 with the Saints. The Dome Patrol. If you don't know the Dome Patrol, we could have put that could have been the top 4 right there. These guys were legit. I remember having a poster at my house from the Dome Patrol. And it was them like police officers or something in the Superdome. And just a great couple seasons. This is when they won their first division, and they were doing the cha-ching from rallies or whatever. Dude, these guys it was awesome. Hey, I want to welcome real quick our new friend Hammy and Son, veteran. He's a card community guy. I shared his video the other day about Memorial Day and about vets, and he's working on real hard with PTSD and things like that.
Love that, man.
Welcome to the show. We'd love to have you on the show. And thanks for being here. Yeah, Dome Patrol was awesome, dude. It was so good. So he was selected 6 times to the Pro Bowl, tons of All-Pro honors, first team, second team, Super Bowl champ, career stats. So 128 sacks, 1,173 tackles, 40 forced fumbles, 29 fumble recoveries, inducted into the Saints Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame. Just a beast, guys. Just an absolute monster and a wrecking ball. Love this pick. Love it.
Yeah, this is a good one. This is a good one, man, for sure.
You know, he only missed like 2 games out of his entire 13 seasons with the Saints, I believe. He only missed 2 out of that.
Wow.
Dude,
And it's crazy, dude. Like,
That-
you
that
think about-
is
Especially on the defense.
yeah, man, that's like incredible, man. It's like
he
what?
wasn't a long snapper. I mean, this dude was a
Jeez, man.
linebacker. That's impressive. Dylan says, how did I not play that Xavier? If you don't know, Dylan drafted 3 Xaviers, and the one that he didn't play, or one of them that he didn't play,
Is the one you should have played. His first NFL touchdown, Xavier-worthy. Let's go, Tutty. Yeah, man. Ricky was a beast. I love that.
He was,
And
yes.
here's the deal. The Saints were absolutely garbage back then. I mean, really. And this Dome Patrol started an actual like fandom. If you remember, prior to the Dome Patrol, everybody wore bags, and they still wore bags at that time just because it was a part of the culture. They're wearing paper bags over their head, and Ricky did a lot. One of the things that I love about Ricky, you talked about his voice. I loved his face mask, dude. He had like the whole face almost covered. Like he was like, I remember his mask just being solid, right? Yeah.
Hey, we got the whole Lusko family in the house.
Oh,
here.
Dave Lusko in the house. Dave, do I?
The patriarch. Come on, Dave.
Yeah, the patriarch. I don't think so. Dave, I'm giving you moderator. It's a little standard moderator. There you go, bud. So that is dad. So we got mom, dad, and son. Dude, go and check out this convention next weekend, man.
Oh, man, we're so pumped about this.
We are
man.
so pumped. And then look, Who Dat? Hey, look, Pat, when you come see us. Let's do a couple top 4s together and take some pictures for sure.
Yeah,
But,
I'll have the wife with me this time, man.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, great. That'd be great. So here's the deal. I'm going to jump into mine. And Andy, we still don't have a.
Are you
Rushmore.
going to jump into yours, or am I going to jump into mine?
Oh yeah. It's sports time now. You're taking over. You're taking
Wait,
over.
that touchdown got to him, man. That touchdown got him on.
I'm going to stiff arm you real quick. I'm going to pull a Derrick
Yeah.
Henry stiff arm on you real quick, and I'm going to jump in. Hey, look, just foreshadowing. We're going to talk about college football players in a couple weeks. So there's that. Let's go to my link. This is when I am growing up as a Saints fan in my house. We didn't have much really to root for, right? We had some success and things like that. We had some pretty good players, but this was the guy. 2001 was drafted. This guy actually was, oh gosh, what happened to my notes here? Anyway, sorry. He was a lifer with the Saints. Played from 01 to 08, just right before that Super Bowl year. But we want to talk about this guy could take a game over. Back in the day, I remember if we had a lead in the fourth quarter and we had about 8 minutes to kill, this guy was the guy you were giving it to. My number 2 favorite Saint of all time, Deuce McAllister. The deuce is loose. I'm going with Deuce, baby. This is the guy from Mississippi, sort of a local guy. But, man, I'm not even kidding you. You guys remember watching those games. If it hasn't been like that since, really, with a player where we could have an 8-minute drive and the other team's not going to get the ball. Deuce was not this guy like the Reggie Bush that was going to be this flashy guy, but talk about a bruiser. Talk about a guy who you could just get 4 yards here, 3 yards here, and then he'd pop one off. And then you have these just the workhorse running back. He's actually the guy, too, bonus points for he's calling the games locally here on the radio. And he's one of my favorites that I've ever done it because he will straight up tell you the Saints suck in this game. Like, he don't even care.
Yeah, he don't
will
even care.
tell you how it is. I love it. He is straight up. But he was, Barry. He would eat the clock, dude. That dude would just, you could win a game. We had no problems with that. You had all the faith that we could just keep handing it to him. All we had to do with Aaron Brooks was just pop it back there, and this guy was going to end the game for you. This guy is my favorite running back when it comes to the Saints in history. Had his jersey, got to meet him one time that some meet and greet. I forget, it was like a restaurant somewhere. He was doing something, but this is the guy. Deuce, right? When you only have to say one name, when you remember too, when the Saints would win or when he would do good, the whole crowd would yell Deuce, and it sounded like they were booing the team, but they weren't booing. They were saying Deuce, man. This was the guy. So, again, statistically, when it comes to like, is he going to have those big, let's look at all-purpose yards. I mean, he had a 1,700 yard season, a 2,100 yards in all-purpose in 2003, 2,157. Followed up with another 1,300. Had an off year. Then it had 2006 had almost 1,300 yards again. He was a consistent back. Unfortunately, he was in that window of time right prior to the Super Bowl. So he didn't get that. I do believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't he like part of like some honorable something like to bring the team out during that playoff run or like a team captain, unofficial team captain?
I'm pretty sure he
I think
was.
we honored him well for sure.
Pretty sure he was. Hey, Yo, Pat, what you think about Deuce?
So Deuce was like, just like you said, man, Andy, when Deuce got the ball, the man would fall forward. You needed a yard or two, just fall forward, and Deuce would just give it to you, man. The guy was just phenomenal on the field. He was just a powerhouse, man. He just run right up the gut, man. It was hard to tackle. He really was, and he was just great, man. He really was. He's just somebody I really wish he was still playing today. I wish he would have probably got another ring there.
6'1", 232. I mean, he's a big dude.
Yeah. Well, you got him 6'1", 232.
That's what Pro Football references. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So my thing says a little different. Let's see what it says here. I just had it. Where'd it go? So we have 6'1", 230 plus. Okay, so 232.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I love this guy. I love him so much. We're going.
I knew it.
Yeah, we got Deuce, bro. Deuce is loose. Look, I got two running backs on the list, and I always said Reggie was my favorite, and he really is. Like if I'm picking favorite running backs of all time, Deuce probably doesn't make it, but Reggie might, and that's just fanhood, just complete fanhood. But I'm going to tell you, when it comes to my favorite Saints of all time, when he was doing this, bro. It was nothing like why. And I remember there was this argument when he was there. It was like, is it Deuce or is it Pierre Thomas? There were people that really were like Pierre Thomas guys. And I love Pierre Thomas too. But Deuce was it, man. SEC guy, Ole Miss guy. You said radio guy. When he retired with the career rushing leader for the Saints with 6,096 yards and 49 touchdowns. Probably should have played a few more years, but this is a running back getting to that spot where running backs only played 10 years, right? This isn't your mom's type of running back. He was a big guy, and he slowed down quite a bit. And you start to get a little couple of injuries. It's really hard to get up in the morning at these things. But I believe, right, he retired in 2009, so he missed the Super Bowl, but I believe he got a ring because he was on the staff or something for whatever reason. So I think he got a ring with that run in 2010. I might be wrong on that, but he had two All-Pro. He had two Pro Bowl selections. And, I mean, he was just a great back. Oh, and last but not least, the fans of the New Orleans Saints have voted this the best first-round draft pick in the history of the New Orleans Saints.
That's high praise. They got some good first rounders for sure.
Yeah. He has the tutty career, but man, just great pick. Great pick.
Yeah. What do you think of, I mean, we've talked about Deuce plenty. Yeah, but he's the guy. He's one of those beloved guys.
You know what I love about Deuce though? Deuce is more than a football player for the Saints. I mean, the Catch-22 Foundation was really big, right? He's a humanitarian. He's a part of, I mean, when he retired, he didn't go far, right? Kind of like Bobby Hebert, kind of like, there's a lot of Saints guys that Hokie Guyjon, all these guys that are in the like pantheon, the circle of Saints, and this guy's respected on the field, off the field, in the he never has to pay for a steak again. I mean, like, he goes anywhere and they're like, Deuce, they love this guy. So I'm going Deuce McAllister. Yeah. Ole Miss legend, bro.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, I guess we can move to our George. Is this a three-way crush? We will see if it is or if it is not. Pat, you're up. The number one of all time Saints. Where are you going?
Dude, you already know who we're going. You already know this one. Everybody loved him, man. Where he had Drew Brees, you know, man.
Yeah, Drew Brees.
Drew Brees, baby. Come on, man. It's just what he brought to the city and what he's done. The guy is just incredible.
It's
just
fitting you got 9 people watching above you.
Yeah, man. It's just, man, the athlete he is, man. It's just so phenomenal, man. I have his jersey. Just somebody I cherish a lot in the NFL. We watched him in San Diego when I was playing in fantasy football. And I didn't draft him at the time. And my father had told me about him. He goes, dude, you might well pick up Drew Brees in your fantasy draft. And then, of course, he went down with the injury. But and then the Saints had picked him up. And man, I tell you what, Drew, if you was on here, brother, we love you, man. There is no other way to put it. Dude. You're like the bomb, man.
Yeah. I mean, it goes without saying. I mean, Drew changed what we thought of about football.
Yeah.
I mean, he did. Drew, here's a couple fun facts for you. Drew, in my hometown, Andy's where Andy lives. It's not Andy's necessarily hometown, but where he lives now in Slidell. Drew was a big part of bringing flag football to the city, and it's a huge deal there. Yeah. Drew is a humanitarian through and through. His kids, the whole 9 yards. And he is, Mr. New Orleans for real.
Yeah. Well,
about Drew Brees.
Yeah. There's no doubt, dude. He is.
Hey, hold on a second.
Let's just keep talking about the GOAT. Listen, I don't even care. I don't even care if you say it's biased. He's better than Brady. Forget Brady. Bump Brady out of here. He is the GOAT. He is the best of all time. We're talking, listen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years of his career, he led the league in passing yards, 4,400, 5,000, 5,400, 5,100, 4,900, 4,800, 5,200 in those times. Completion percentages, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years he was there, right? Listen, there was a stat, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's been like, I don't know, it was like, and it's probably changed in more recent times, but at a certain point, there was like 7 times a quarterback's thrown for 5,000 yards in a year, and Drew had 3 of those, or 5 times, and Drew had 3. I mean, like, how wild is that? Drew broke his own record completion percentage-wise like 4 times. Yeah, I mean, it's the model of what you want in a quarterback. Listen, I know that I'm in the minority when we talk about this. Maybe not here in New Orleans. I'm not in the minority, but Super Bowls are just a part of what makes a quarterback the GOAT. In my opinion, it's not. If you just put Brady out against 12 people, he'd lose them all. You just can't. It's not. But when we look at these individual statistics, statistically, and I don't like stats. You know that, Kirk. But I will tell you, from a statistics standpoint, you can't deny the fact that Drew had one of the most impressive careers. And I will say this snub of all time when it comes to MVPs.
MVP snub.
How does this happen? The year that he should have, one of the years, there should have been multiple, at least 6 MVPs this dude should have had. It was wild. That he gets offensive player of the year, but Rodgers gets MVP. Who's in his same position? How does that even make sense? Like, It's so wild to me, the snubs that he had. We've talked about the what ifs in NFL, and we can go down this rabbit trail. If we don't get the no call against us, Drew gets the head-to-head against Tom Brady, and we wipe the floor with the Patriots that year without even a doubt in my mind. We have the year with the Minneapolis. Listen, the Minneapolis Miracle, again, I don't hate that one as much as the no call because that was just a football play. That just happens. But had we done that year, there's another Super Bowl right there. I mean, so many 28.
Andy, you're missing one of the best stats that he ever had. The gate is narrow.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, what do you want me to do? The gate is narrow.
Absolutely. Here's the deal. Drew Brees is the greatest quarterback of all time. I actually wrote a college paper at Bridges Christian College about that. So there it is. Kirk, I know he's your Rushmore too. I'm going to give you some time to talk to. Drew is the GOAT.
So, yeah, I really hate Tom Brady's career because of Drew Brees. I mean, I really wish Tom Brady would have been like 10 years before Brees, right? Or even like the fact that they were always together with Aaron Rodgers and whatever. Brees always got undercut because of the championships. And honestly, 5,000 yards 5 times. That's crazy. He has, I just saw it. I think he has 83,000 yards career. For a while before the dead arm year, the year that he finally gave it up, which his arm, like he just couldn't hold up anymore. And he was really wanting to, I think he really wanted to because of Brady, honestly. Like he wanted to get that second ring. He knew that Brady was on his tail with all the stats, right? He was ahead of him in yards, touchdowns, completions. I remember him holding those things. And then all of a sudden, not to mention Peyton Manning played in this era with him. Yep. I mean, so all these things are happening. He got one Super Bowl MVP, no regular MVP, just really, really a big deal. But when I talk about favorite players of all time, this is the type of guy that you look at and you kind of tell your son and you're like, look, if he can do it, you can do it, right? This is not a guy like a Reggie Bush, right? Reggie Bush was a physical specimen at his size. Ricky Jackson, physical specimen in a different way. Deuce McAllister. Drew was just short, barely 6 foot, small guy, tossing the ball all over. Was a Christian, was a nice guy, was not like, he's playing with mean guy, and he's just having fun. Love the game more than anybody I've ever seen. Love the city more than anybody I've ever seen. And let me just tell you something. Him along with a couple other people saved this city. Yep. in emotional, like just if you weren't from New Orleans, you have no idea the smell of rotten refrigerators and the smell of Katrina. And then this team takes off for the next 4 or 5 years. And we're watching just something that's never happened before in our city. All of our sports teams have been pretty awful at that point. And man, Drew did it, man. And I everybody remembers the kick, bro. Everybody. You remember the ambush. You remember the field goal against the Vikings.
Hell is frozen.
But let me
Pigs
tell you
have flown.
I had tears, man.
Going to the Super Bowl.
I had tears. I was crying.
I remember my favorite scene is the confetti falling with him holding his son, bro. And I was just like, bro, we did it. Did we just actually do it? Did we do this thing? What? Wow.
Yeah, there you go. Right there. Look at that.
Oh my gosh, chill.
It was the best feeling.
Keys in the house.
And his son's like almost in college now. Not really.
He doesn't like
it's so crazy how long.
Hey, look, Barry. Andy don't like stats because he hates math.
No, well, that's part of it. There's multiple reasons. Stats are for liars.
He thinks stats are overrated.
Listen, you can go home and tell your mom that you had the most whatever percentage, but you lost the game by 50. Doesn't matter what your stats were. I hate stats. Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, not a stats guy. Stats are for liars, and you can make any stat about anything. I hate baseball specifically for stats. I don't hate baseball, but like stats in baseball, because it's like this guy has the most 340-yard hits in rain when the relative humidity is at a 12. Who keeps these stats, dude? I mean, it's wild.
Oh,
Gives you stuff to talk. Anyway, enough about my rant about stats. Bill Keys is in the house. Let's continue this going. Look, we had a great mountain. We knew Drew was the GOAT. He was the number one. He is the guy. But we had some fun stuff that, another Rushmore on Deuce. And then we had a couple other things.
Honestly, I think the best part is about to come, though, because we're about to talk about some Benjamin Watsons. We're going to go with all about the Benjamins. And all about the Benjamins is our honorable mentions. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is where it's going to get fun, because everybody kind of knew we were going Drew. Most of you probably knew we were probably pulling Deuce out. Ricky Jackson, Reggie Bush, Marcus Coles. Those are all guys that we know, man. Those are dogs. But who we got next on the list? Let's do this. We're going to go with all about the Benjamins. Let's get it. Pat, the Chiefs just took the lead. Just letting you know, my man Mahomes just took the lead. So,
Mahomes did not take the lead.
Yes,
who scored the touchdown? Because I don't even have it. I'm gonna have to go ask my wife, because I know she's probably in there watching.
It was a field goal. It was a field goal. They're up 10-7. 10-7.
Okay,
who scored
so
the touchdown?
Okay, so it wasn't a touchdown.
Xavier-Worthy scored the Chiefs touchdown. Derrick Henry scored the Ravens touchdown, and Harrison Butker. So just kick the field goal. So we're to the Benjamins. Now, this is how the game is played. If you've ever watched the show, we got 10 people in the chat. We're going to do honorable mentions. This is just a way to just shout out a bunch of more people. We all get 4 more picks, but here we cannot pick anybody that's already been picked, and we cannot pick anybody as we go forward. So here's the draft order. It is going to be the same exact thing. It's going to be Pat, you're first, Andy second, I'm third. But here's the key. It's serpentine like fantasy football. So I got 4th pick, Andy's 5th, you're 6th. Pat, you got 6 and 7 back-to-back. Andy's 8. I got 9 and 10 back-to-back. 11, and you get Mr. Irrelevant. You get Marcus Colston in the 7th. You get Mr. Brock Purdy. You get the pick down there. So that's how this draft is going to go. Who do you think is the best New Orleans Saint ever that was not mentioned today so far? Now, let me just say this. It's a little gamesmanship here now. We can't match.
Fantasy draft, baby.
You're kind of doing this like, I kind of know where Kirk's going. I kind of know where Andy's going. If you've got a guy, you might want to get him soon.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, this guy brought back a lot of excitement here in New Orleans. This is somebody that still that puts a lot of love in our hearts here. And the play, it's that one play against the team, Mr. Steve Gleason.
Nice. Yes.
Brother, I mean, that guy, man, I pray for this guy so much. I'm hoping everything works out for him, and just that block punt, brother, that was the one right there, dude. That was that pop in that dome, man. That's all it takes right there, brother. And this guy brings a lot of joy and love in us. And I feel that Steve Gleason gets that, man.
If anybody's watching, you don't know about Steve. Steve's been fighting the good fight. He's got cerebral palsy, right? No, muscular dystrophy. What does he got?
ALS.
ALS. He's got ALS. Yeah, Lou Gehrig's disease, right? So he's in a wheelchair. He's not verbal anymore, but he's got like the Saints fans and the Saints community is wrapped around. No black flags. Is it no white flag? No white flags. No white flags.
Yeah, no white flags.
Chris Edwards, who's been on our show several times, has that tattooed right there on his forearm. No white flags. Dude, I love Gleason. This is a great pick. I have him. He's sitting right in my top 20. And yeah, as a Saint, one big play. As a person in the community, of the Saints community, he is probably the GOAT. He got the statue out front. Love this pick. Good job.
All right. My next one, this guy was excitement to the 1,000th degree. Actually ended his career with the Saints too, in kind of a cool way recently. Give me Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham is that guy. He came back this last year, had 4 receptions, and all 4 of them were touchdowns or something crazy like that, dude. I mean,
most catches ever for the Saints.
There was a time
season touchdown record twice.
Yeah,
and I think we did it, guys. I think we did it. No, we got one more. This is the all-time greatest 3rd round pick in the history of the New Orleans Saints.
We did 1st, we did 3rd, we did 7th, we did 5th.
All we have left is the 6th round pick, the best 6th round pick ever.
Who was did we say the best 2nd round pick?
I
don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, Ricky Jackson.
Oh, Ricky Jackson was the 2.
So Ricky Jackson was the 2. Morton Anderson was the 4. Thomas Morstead was the 5. Jimmy Graham was the 3. Ole Miss was the 1. And we need 6. And Marcus
we can
Colston
knock this out. All right. Kirk,
so all we have is 6, and actually we have post 7th round back in the day when they picked more than 7 picks. So we have one of those 2. So 2 guys.
I think I know the best undrafted free agent we've ever had. But anyway, go to your next.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with dude. I'm kind of shocked, and I'm not, because I mean it's a stout roster. I'm gonna go with a guy who's still active. He's still active, but he don't play for the Saints. As a matter of fact, he don't play at all. I'm going for Sean Payton.
Wait, pause. You no, I'm throwing a flag. The title of the show is Saints Players.
I knew you would jump on that one. No, I have another guy. I knew you would throw the flag.
Okay.
We got flag. Now I'm going to jump in. I've got my guy, though, and I'm rocking him right here.
Okay.
Number 28, Mark Ingram.
Look at the details.
Yeah, dude. I'm going Mark
Ingram.
Roll
Tide, baby. Roll Tide.
I'm going Mark Ingram. And look, I'm going to come back. Yeah, Roll Tide. Blah. This is the only Alabama guy I'll ever wear. But Mark Ingram is the career rushing leader now, and he has 6,267 passed up the deuce. And then I'm going with the legend. I'm going with Archie Manning. Now, let me tell you, I never got to watch Archie play. We've obviously seen his kids and now his grandson playing. His grandson just got his first tutty this weekend for Texas. But you know, the career he had. But here's a story. I've shared this on here. I played against Peyton and I played against Eli. They both played for Carrollton Blue. Carrollton's baseball was Carrollton Blue and Carrollton Red in the All-Stars, and I played against them. And Archie would come to watch Peyton and Eli, and he would sit in the outfield. And when he was out in the outfield, he would just kind of try and hide because, you know, he's trying to watch his kid. But as soon as somebody realized that Archie was out there, he was signing everything. And I have probably, I mean, I don't have them anymore, but I probably had 3 or 4 different gloves over the All-Star year signed by Archie. Good guy, good family, probably the royal family of, we talked about this on the draft, who is the best families, but yeah, Archie Manning, probably the only star we really had back then. I mean, we had some stars, but the only homebred star that we had, Archie Manning. Going with him.
Yeah.
Great pick there, bud.
All right. So back to me for another pick. I'm going to pick an active player for the Saints, still on the Saints. We want to talk lifer on this team, Cameron Jordan. I love Cam Jordan at the D-line.
Career sacks leader.
He may not go down as the flashiest, but this dude is consistent. Also, we want to talk about the guy who, I mean, he has I think 1 game in his career that he sat out due to injury.
Dude, much better than Dennis Allen. I appreciate that. Listen, I am not. Can I just jump on this? Let's go back one. I love Cam, by the way. Cam's great. Mr. Dave, let me just say this. If you've been around me long enough, I hate hating on our own players. I hate it. Even when they're doing bad. It's one of the reasons I loved Reggie so much. I hate that, but I wasn't for this hire. I didn't like the hire. I didn't like the whole deal. And I think it's coming to crash. But we spent so much money with the car and all the stuff we've got going on, the Raiders 2.0, that this is probably the last bit of that test. But we've got to do something, man. We got to do something. But Cam's great. Career Who Dat sack leader. Career.
Yeah, he's going to go down to me as one of the guys that's the all-time great Saints because, again, how often do you have a Derek Jeter-like career where you're all your career as a guy?
You know what else is cool about him? His sound bites. He's got some good.
Also, he's got a great podcast, dude. He's got one of those cool little shows that he does that always brings on guests from all over the league.
Look at this dude. I was waiting for somebody to do this. My favorite saint is Paul. St. Paul.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for somebody.
I almost was going to do a list of my favorite saints. St. Paul, St. Patrick. St. Patrick's a good one.
What about Boondock Saints?
Flipper dude is a Houston guy, so I'm assuming he's a Texan guy. I know he's an Astros guy. He's a Houston guy.
Hey, Ingram played for the Texans for a little bit, so there you go.
Yeah. So, Pat, you're up. You get back-to-back picks, so you get 2.
Okay. So kind of here, we're going to go back here. We're going to go back a couple of years here, and I don't think we kind of picked this guy, and I think he needs the love here. And then this is going to be a little bit of offensive here. We're going to go Willie Roaf, man.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, Willie, man. Come on, man. Dude, you gotta protect your quarterback, brother. If you can't protect your QB, man, you gotta have him. So I think Willie Roaf deserves a lot of love here, and I think Willie. I just wish he would have just got the ring, man. Somebody that's just phenomenal. Another pure, strong athlete right there. Just, man. I met his brother when I was with the crew of Caesars parade out in Metairie. I was doing the bingo one night, and his brother,
I love that.
Willie Roaf's brother was there. Yeah, and I met him, man. We had a nice little conversation. It was great. It really was.
I tried to interrupt you, but I love that. That is definitely a New Orleans saying. We were down there doing the bingo.
Making groceries. We were making
groceries and we were doing the bingo. Yeah. I love that. Earl Campbell is hands down the greatest Saints player. No, he might have been the greatest player ever to play for the Saints, but he was never the greatest Saints player. All right, doing the bingo. So we're doing the bingo, and we got Willie Roaf. But here's the cool thing I love about Willie Roaf. He was a Kansas City Chief as well.
He was.
Hall of Famer. Yeah,
he was. You don't have to rub that in, but we know.
Yeah, I love them
there
on both sides.
There was a while.
93 to 2001, 2002 to 2005.
There was a while where the Saints were like kind of the farm system for a lot of the greats, and
they were the farm system for the
there was a few of them. Yeah, there was quite a few of them.
All right, so you get another pick, Willie Roaf, and you got one more.
All right, you ready for this one? Let's go back with another QB, baby. How about Archie Manning?
Oh, that was already
Archie.
Oh, was it? I didn't even know. Was it on it? Was he on the Archie man?
He just took him in the Benjamin.
All right, so
you can have Bobby Hebert, though.
Oh my God! All right, I'll take Bobby. On that.
Oh, yeah, the Cannon.
Hey, honestly though, not a bad quarterback. When he could sling the ball. He also was a Falcon though too for a minute.
Yeah, I was. Dude, look, when he went to the Falcons, that was it. That was the love was over with right there.
I'll tell you what, when it comes to, we said I love Deuce in radio, there's nobody better than Bobby Hebert. He's the GOAT when it comes. I mean, if Deuce will keep it real with you with how bad the Saints are or whatever, Bobby don't sugarcoat anything. And he like curses on like he
does, yes.
I love Bobby, man. That's a cool pick. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna come back around and I'm gonna pick
I'm nervous.
Let's
keep
this
a great list. But
let's get a little deep here, man.
I'm gonna keep this on the D line, the defense. RIP to this guy. I'm going with Will Smith. Will Smith was one of my favorites. He was the guy who, again, unfortunately, man, just such a preventable thing, man. Road rage really led to him being shot. Yeah. It's just wild, dude. And people forget, how dominant of a player this guy, how much of a staple this guy was on our D line. He was the Cam Jordan before Cam Jordan. He was the guy who just number 91, man. He was that guy. And gosh, so unfortunately, he died so young, such a preventable way to go. But man, on the football field, this guy was the real deal. He was a huge dude too. I got to look up his measurements, but this dude I remember this guy was pretty big, at least came off as big on TV. So, but yeah, Will Smith, man. Also great name. We got to say great name. Big Willie style, man.
Yeah, I love that pick. All right, well, I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna go with an active Saint. I'm going with Alvin Kamara.
Oh yeah, man.
I'm going to go with Alvin Kamara. The dude has led rushing touchdowns several times in his career. Just an absolute joystick. I'm hoping he has another big year left in him. He's getting up in age, and I don't know how many more years we got left of him. And I'm glad he didn't hold out. If he would have held out, we probably would have lost him. And he decided to show up to camp. And I'm going to go my last pick, my number 4. Man, we have picked 1 through 15 for me. And I'm going to go down. I'm all the way down here. Gosh, it's 1 of 2 people. You know what? I'm going to do it. I saw him in the chat earlier. Another Dome Patrol guy. I'm going with none other than Pat Swillen. And we got Pat on the show. We got Pat up scoring tutties up here on my screen. My middle name's Pat. What I mean, my mom's Pat. We're going with Pat Swillen. We like Pats everywhere.
Oh gosh,
a lot of Pat, man.
You're not getting a pat on the back for that one. So, I'll tell you this. I did a little research while you were doing that. I'm not going to pick the best 6th round player because it's unfortunate that he's the best 6th. We need to do better in the 6th round is all I'm saying. If he's a
beast. He was a beast back in the day.
But dude, he was a liability at certain points in that defense. If it's the same list of guys that you pulled up.
No. This is an offensive guy. This is not a defensive guy.
Well, then this was a different list saying he was the best 6th round pick because this dude was not the guy. I'm not going with him. But anyway, let's end this. I can't believe that he did not get mentioned yet. Entertainment factor during those years of not being great. I'm going to pull out the cell phone and we're going to give it to Joe Horn.
Yes!
Joe Horn made my list.
That was my other pick.
Joe was on there, brother.
Listen, dude, Joe Horn was again, he was that one thing that we could look forward to at least watching on TV. There wasn't much to cheer for the Saints during that time. And he just made it fun, man. So
Joe Horn was you gotta really remember this. When Joe Horn was the guy, you had across the league T.O., Randy Moss, Chad Ochocinco. Joe Horn was very underrated. He was towards his end of his career, but he pulled out the cell phone and the Sharpie while T.O. was doing that junk. And he was also a Kansas City Chief.
Yeah, but he was garbage there. So
I went to that game, man.
That's his career.
I was at that game when Joe Horn pulled a cell phone from the goalpost.
Come on,
right in the end zone. Yes. My wife had bought us tickets, and me and my father-in-law had went, and we were right surrounded by Giant fans around us, and they had the guys next to us was from Philadelphia. We were right in the end zone, right when he caught, he went underneath I was like a few rows up. I don't even know if you could see me on TV, but I was a few rows up, and we saw Joe right there. I was like, we were pumped up, man. We were ragging on the Giants and everything that night.
That's great, man.
It was a great game. It really
was. Good barbecue sauce, too. That's right.
Also, unfortunately ended his career as a Falcon. Why do we have so many Saints that went on there?
Man,
his son JC is cornerback for Carolina, too. But guy's kind of local, Mississippi guy, so.
Yeah. All right. So, Pat, Mr. Irrelevant. There's a couple really good ones left, man. You get one more.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to throw this one out. He was just kind of my favorite a little bit there on offense. I like Lance Moore.
Yes. Good pick.
Yeah.
That one catch.
Lance Moore, man.
The catch from Drew, it was like this way.
Yes.
Right on the goal line, and he contorted his whole body and went out of bounds, and the ball just crossed.
Lance Moore, man.
Yes.
There it is, right there.
That play.
That play, dude.
That is a GOAT play.
And
right
they
there,
ruled
bro.
it. They actually ruled that, remember, an incomplete because the ball dropped.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
And they had to go back and review. That was a 2-point conversion. And I remember, like, dude, no, the ball's across the plane. The play's over. Like, I remember just yelling at the TV, and then they overturned it. And, man, Lance doesn't get a and dude, there was some much like Colston. If you needed that third down conversion, Lance Moore, dude, was the guy.
All right, so let me just throw this out there at you because, and you know, I got a ton more guys on here, and you know, everybody from John Forcade and the Darren Sproles and the Aaron Brooks of the world, Ricky Williams, Jari Evans was great, but let me tell you, this list that I found, the greatest evers, the greatest 6th-round pick of all time in this particular list was Fred McAfee.
There you go.
Great running back from like 90s, early 2000s, I believe. And then you won't believe this. And Pat, you might get this. The greatest post 7th round pick of all time is a guy that's been on the radio forever with your boy Cajun Cannon. It is.
What we got?
Anybody know?
Who you got?
Hokey Guyjon.
R.I.P.
Guyjon.
R.I.P. R.I.P. Hokie too.
Guyjon is the greatest post 7th round pick of all time.
Hey,
man, Ironhead Hayward, Garrett
mentioned
Hartley
him
with
before.
the kick, Will Lutz, Michael Thomas, Marshawn
Michael Thomas is out of here, bro.
Bro, look, I don't like him now, but he has the 2 greatest receiving seasons in history of the Saints.
Yeah,
Just saying.
He's
Roman Harper. Yeah, you told that story. I kind of had Andy pegged to at least pick him.
He was going to go there, man, as a roll tighter. I was going to go Roman Harper. I was going to go for old gray hair, but I didn't do it.
Jeremy Shockey.
Jeremy Shockey. Listen, Kyle Turley, Scott Fujita at that linebacker.
Yes.
Who was another guy with
Hobie Brenner. John Stinchcomb.
Yes.
Stinchy, dude.
Ruben Mays, Dalton Hilliard, LSU boy. Yeah. Anyways, great show. Pat, thanks for coming, hanging out with us. Leroy Glover. What?
Manti Te'o. Come on, dude.
Wow. Manti Te'o's girlfriend, too.
Hey, look, in all seriousness, Manti, and I wouldn't put him as the greatest Saint. He was a solid.
He was pretty good. He actually rejuvenated his career for us. Yeah. Hey, here's one. Chris Ivory.
Dude, oh my gosh, that dude got so much was.
Oh my gosh, man. Jeez, man.
Ivory was the dude.
Teron Armstead, Demario Davis. What?
So if you're gonna go,
Eric and Wayne Martin.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyways, let's just get out of here.
Hey, pause real quick. We didn't give fullbacks any love. Mike Carney, Heath Evans. We were running some fullbacks for a while there, man.
Well, I think my favorite bull of a running back was always Ironhead.
Yeah.
Dude, and what a cool nickname. What a cool nickname. But so Pat,
Jarius Bird.
One of the most regretful picks ever, or trades or signings or whatever we did. But Pat, tell our friends where you will be, where they can find you, what's going on, and we'd love to get our buds to go and check you out. Where's your page, Instagram, whatever you got going on?
Yeah, man. Look, you can find me on all the platforms, all across social media. I'm out there pretty much on all of them. You can find me as Who Dat Pat. Now I'm kind of changed it up my TikTok a little bit. I kind of went into a different direction with that one. It's going to be kind of a haunted thing, but that's a whole different ball game. But we're going to stick to the Who Dat Pat one. But look, you catch me out there. I'll try to vlog on weekends, and like I said, you'll probably pretty much catch me on at least once a week, maybe twice a week. I'll post some videos and who knows, maybe some pictures on Instagram. Me and the wife enjoying some love and some travel out there, man.
Awesome, man.
Well, look, Pat, welcome to the Summit Squad. Welcome to the show. We'd love to have you again on something other than sports. Let's talk again. We'll talk when we're at the convention. So just one more time, sharing the convention, Louisiana Retro Con next weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Come out to Morgan City Municipal Auditorium. Come hang out with us. Come find us. Come take a picture with us. Come do a Mount Rushmore. Come spin the wheel. Hang out with us. And we're going to have a blast. Hey, so that's our show for today. We've got Dylan coming up next. Dylan's in the comments. Dylan's going to do greatest college football coaches of all time. I wonder where he's going with that. We're also going to do most obscure sports. So like sports you'd find maybe on a late night on ESPN or the Ocho. Maybe you'd find them on the beach or in a parking lot. I don't know, like all kinds of sports that aren't necessarily the big ones. We're going to talk about all the obscure sports. Maybe you find them in a foreign country. But yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff doing there.
Let me just give this update real quick. This show, we've gained 5 subs today. We went from 957 to 962.
Well, I'm going to just throw this out there. Thank you, everybody out there. Welcome to the Summit Squad. It's been real weird the last few weeks. We have gone into the 60s 4 times, and YouTube has either taken people away or people have just dropped off. It's kind of weird. We've gone into the 60s. Now, this is the 4th time. Hopefully, we can stick it. We are only 38 away now. So if you went and subscribe, go watch something else so you stick. Stay around. If you like sports, we got a ton of sports coming up. So thank you for all those people that are joined in. And it is time to go home. It's time to say goodnight. It is time to go watch my fantasy team and my favorite team. So
Mark Andrews to be here. I need Mark Andrews to show up. Is all I need to happen because he's putting up goosies right now.
I haven't even looked at fantasy right now, but I know I need 40. And by the time this game's over, I need 40 and 60.
Look, I just want to say something to you guys before I get out of here.
Yeah.
You guys are, without any doubt, incredible. You guys are blessed, man. I wish you both nothing but the best, and I believe you guys will rise to the top very much. I love your show. Think you guys are fantastic. God bless you both, man. And I feel you guys will, man, you guys are going to get up there with no problem.
I really just need to share this, and I've been sharing it a lot lately, and I'm just going to keep saying it because it's kind of like overwhelming, to be honest. When we first started, people would come on, but nobody would ever like compliment like that. We were just doing it's always been this, but it's usually been our friends, and we started welcoming different people and going live and having the chat with friends out here. And look, it's become a great community, and we're so humbled that people would want to chat with us. Did I think we'd passed 1,000 by now? Yes. Did I think we put in enough work to have at least 10,000? Yes. But God's got it and where he wants us to be, not to blow our heads up or whatever, but we are having a phenomenal time. Here's the thing. If there's anybody out there, we got 10 people still out there. If you want to be on the show, all our socials are down there. Go follow them all. But the best way to hit us up is either Facebook or Instagram. Hit us in the chat. We'll talk and find out when. We usually sign people up about a month ahead of time for the 2-month span. So we just booked all of sports. I'll start booking all of food probably sometime at the end of this month. And then video games is already booked. I just got to get them on the dates. We've got so many people coming by. Look, we have, hey, if you're a video game guy out there, listen to this. I got 9 of you. Don't go nowhere. We've got Bryce. Oh, we want Misadventures. Hey, Misadventures. We've been trying to get them on the show. We'll see you guys at the RetroCon, hopefully. We've been trying to get them. We can never match up, but we got Bryce, who's in the comments right now. Bryce JW. He's going to be on the show. We got Retro Wolf. We got Retro Cart. We got Retro Gaming Pandemic. Retro Rob. We've got Rad Bash and Feral Inferno. Super Retro Force. Iowa Gaming Dad. We've got Manny's Arcade. Picking Preacher. Saturn Steve. RNG Gamer. We have Mort's Garage. Square Pegs. Pac-Man Case. And we have... yeah, that's it. That's it. All coming in for video games. That's going to be amazing. If you like video games, hang around. But man, Pat, thanks for the great comment. We've been getting that a lot lately, and I know I'm a words of affirmation guy. Andy's kind of a words of affirmation guy. I love hearing it to know that we're actually impacting people. But to tell you the truth, the real thing is what we're going to do next weekend, preaching the gospel at the conventions and able just to make a community and hang out with people. If you guys ever have needs, seriously, whatever your need is, if I can pray for it at least, if I can help you out in other ways, we'd love to help you out. If you're ever in the Atlanta area, you need a place to stay, dude, reach out. We would love to help you figure out that. Andy's in the New Orleans. I'm about to call you Cannon. Andy's in the New Orleans area. So if you're ever out that way, but man, we love you guys so much.
Yeah, man, I appreciate the compliment. It again is just one of those crazy things that people that listen, even if we never get to the 1,000 mark, that 962 people really care to to even be a part of this is just
it's
mind-boggling. So
it takes time, guys. It does.
I'll just share this. What would really be helpful to the 8 of you out there is go watch a couple old shows. Let's get that watch time up. If you guys really want to help support us, let it run in the background. You don't even have to watch. Go cook something and put it on your laptop. That would be amazing for us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Man, we love that. Top 4 Saints of all time is the Dome Patrol. Yeah, that's a good call. Vaughn Johnson wasn't mentioned today. Sam Mills wasn't mentioned today. But yeah, the Dome Patrol.
Hey, Miss Rhonda, Mama Rhonda is asking for prayers. So, hey, we're going
to Miss Rhonda. We would love.
Go ahead and
I'm
gonna go ahead and pray for Miss Rhonda real quick before we say goodnight, because
let's do it, man.
One of those things.
Yeah, go for it. Yes.
So we'll pray and then we'll say goodnight to everyone. Father, we just we thank you for Miss Rhonda,
yes.
God, and just everything that, Lord, that she does for the RetroCon and just her family and God, whatever it is that she needs, Lord, she's asking for prayers tonight. God, if we don't even know specifically what it is, Lord, we know that you know her heart. God, you know what she needs even before she even knows what she needs, Lord. So we just thank you for what you're doing in her life. God, we thank you for what you're going to continue to do in her life and her family's life. We pray for just blessings over her family, her health, her finances, her spirit, Lord, just everything, God, that she needs. Lord, you would provide it abundantly more than we can ever imagine. So, Lord, we just trust you in her life, and we thank you, God, for her and for the Lusko family. In Jesus' name, amen.
And hey, look, Miss Rhonda, Dave, Davey, next weekend, let's lay hands and pray at the conference too.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much, Pat, for being on the show. It means more than you ever know. Thank you for all the friends showing up. Andy.
All right. Well, hey, let's say good night like we always do. We're sub 2 hours tonight, guys. Let's do it like we always do. This is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about you, you right there. The
top 4.
Your top 4.
And nothing more.
Peace.